A very good morning, countrymen, and thank you so much for joining us this early morning. It's a Uganda First, program that is powered by the National Secretariat for Patriotism Corps. I'm Andrew Chamagiro, and we're in the third quarter of the year as a country. And this conversation today is meant to prepare you as a Ugandan to the next level, preparing the Ugandan citizen for the transformative and the transformation layer of the country. Today with me in studios, I have Mr. Bamwine Fred, a commissioner at the RDC Secretariat, and I have the retired AIGP, that is Hassan Kasinje, Chief Political Commissar when we're still in police, and they're here to talk with us now. You can be part of this conversation on different digital platforms on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. The hashtag is Uganda First. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning, Andrew.
I feel honored to be among great men. For starters.
Thank you.
And Fred Bamwine, I started to hear from Fred Bamwine when Womatete was still my MP.
Nakawa East.
Nakawa East.
Kampala East that time.
Yes, that was
Nakawa.
Kampala, yes. In the Nakawa division. And that was when we still had the Constitution Assembly. And he's still here. Good to see you, sir.
Thank you so much, and good morning, viewers and listeners of NTV. And I'm happy to be hosted here for the first time this time.
Well, good to see you. Mr. San Kasije, you just retired this year.
Yes.
How are you holding up? How does it feel being out of uniform? Everyone was like, oh, he's here without a uniform.
It feels nice. It feels nice.
Okay.
It feels nice, yeah. You feel you have to do the most important things that you never had time to do.
Wow.
Yes.
It's an honor.
It's a breath of fresh air.
It's an honor to have you too. Let's start with the most simplest things here. We're going to look at a couple of things that are driving our country when it gets to transformation. Mr. Bamwine, you've been an RDC, I think, all your life.
I don't know. How big is my life?
You're still going. You're still going. Yeah. And I want to tap into what should possibly drive the capacity of patriotism in this country if we're to prepare our countrymen for the transformation we want to achieve as a country.
Now, first of all, I want to really appreciate Patriotism Secretariat and NTV. Because there are very many media houses.
Yeah.
But for you to have chosen to say, we need to look at patriotism, I think that's a plus to you.
Thank you.
Because we have had a crisis as a country. When I was growing up, we used to look at a country called Uganda, hear about it and feed it.
Then?
But when we entered into issues of globalization, and the world became a global village, very few people mind about the integrity, the details. They take things casually. I remember in our time, there used to be tourists going to Queen Elizabeth National Park.
Yeah.
And they could always stop to take photographs of cows when they are crossing the road.
Yeah.
And we could not allow them.
Wow.
We could not allow them to take photographs to cows.
Why?
And we said, what was their reason for them to take our cows for those photographs? Children as young as we were, we could chase them. Then they sent some agents, talk to us, and we said, but why are they photographing our cows? Now I hear our cows in other parts of the world, the Angora cows, are selling in billions of shillings.
Yeah. Something you're
illiterate as we were.
You're protecting.
We are protecting our heritage.
Yeah.
But now, the generation of today with masters and PhD, cows are sold trillions, billions of money, and we are still here with jiggers.
Yeah.
I think that's where the mismatch is.
Okay.
When we entered into globalization, the kind of education we got and we are getting, we have churned out a generation of lazy people.
I hear you.
Lazy people who don't like. I know this is an English show, but normally when I am invited to such a show, I first advise whoever is listening to me first have food in your family.
Yeah.
Grown food for your family. Because that is the basic.
You must have a garden.
A garden, I normally call it a garden. RDC's garden.
Yeah.
RDC.
Yeah.
And that's wherever I have passed. In some areas, I used some force.
Oh.
Yes.
Because we are
How
lazy.
can you be a family head without food? And somebody calls on the radio, on TV or radio. For us, we eat one meal a day, and he has land. So, to me, NTV and the Secretariat of Patriotism, it's important people to realize that this country we are enjoying had our forefathers. Illiterate as they were.
They protected what they had.
Kabarega used arrows and spears for 23 years, resisted until he was let down. In fact, I have one of my sons, one is Shaka, another one is Kabarega, another one is Mwanga.
So Pan-African.
Yes. I'm very, very, and whenever we go to this meeting, so to me, before you speak good English, before you get this, what are you?
As a Ugandan.
After Ugandan, what are you? An African. Are we half human beings?
We are human beings just like the others.
Why should others go to the Mars? And for us, we still have jiggers.
The mindset.
We need to think outside the box.
That brings me to you, Fandi Kasinje here. Yes, I love how Mr. Bamwine puts it that we're a generation that is a little bit lazy because of the globalization. Do you think, in a way, technology has, in a way, made Ugandans a little bit laid back, and just a few of those are jumping on it, and others are like, I can do everything. I can order food, and it comes here online, and has it affected us in a way that we have forgotten our heritage?
Maybe yes, maybe no. He talks about the picture behind, and I think the first question you asked about what is it that should power us, you know, into
the transformation,
the kind of transformation. Then I come to your question very quickly. Yeah, I also grew up in that kind of environment, in a family and community. Actually, me, I was not from the cows, you know, sector. Shema being a small, you know, we don't have land for cows until when you go where we are in the same constituency. Now, most of the things we are told in a community, the community would want to tell you what to expect, how to behave, how to be disciplined, how to respect, you know, elders, what you're supposed to do, how education is important, and that kind of thing. So the community and the family was the basis for which you bring responsible people. Juxtapose that into a country, okay?
Wow.
That even patriotism, the love for your country, must be nurtured.
Oh, yeah.
You know, a country is an amalgamation of families and communities, isn't it? Now, you can imagine you were born from Uganda, but from childhood you were told, Omoyo
Gwegwanga.
Ogutafa.
Omoyo gwa Buganda ogutafa.
Ogutafa. Somebody knows it from down.
Yeah.
You reach where you're ready to die for
your kingdom.
Your kingdom.
Yes.
You see,
yes.
it's nurtured.
Oh, yes.
And that's why I want to thank the Secretariat for Patriotism in the President's Office and NTV for having this program. When we're talking about, you know, what must we do to have that kind of patriotism, we must do this. I saw a very small clip, I think for Korea, where a child was crying. It was going around. He was crying and disturbing the dad. The dad didn't know what to do. You know what he did? He played the national anthem. And the kid stood up and...
was all on attention.
Then after it ended, the kid began crying again. Then he played it. That strip is... I don't know whether people understood what it means. That when the national anthem, when the sentiments of a country comes to you, it changes, even it changes your emotions and that kind of thing.
That's true.
Now, when we go to technology, I think there are two important things that I think we should look at. Because technology allows us to, you know, there are two important things. One is working hard. But the other one is working smart.
Nice.
There are two things. We need people to work hard for the transformation of the country.
Yes.
But we need people to work smart for the total transformation of this country.
Okay.
And for me, that's the mindset. We have technology, and right now we're talking about social media, for example. We have young people on Twitter, on WhatsApp, on whatever. But what are they doing with technology?
With the tech, yes.
What does it show you? I'm on Twitter, for example.
Yeah.
And I am a regular Twitter user.
Yes.
But what is it? I have used Twitter to transform not only myself, but my work, the work I was doing, but again, my country. I have friends all over the whole world. And they even come to my DM, want to come to Uganda, this and this and this. How is it? Here I am, an individual, using my own platform.
Promoting the country.
Promoting the country.
Yeah.
So young people, technology is there. How we use it, transform ourselves and the country is very important.
That's a big question.
If you wanted to abuse people, there you are. How is it going to help you in transforming? If you want to use it to show the whole world how Uganda is poor, is bad, is this, is that, and that kind of thing, then I'm sorry, there was a journalist who had gone around.
No,
and
it's okay.
And then he was, every morning he would come up and say, here things are good, but there.
Yes.
Said, but
what's the end goal?
yes, I know that is, but don't we have good things about Uganda?
We do have
and then you say, okay, here I have also found this, but in our country, we do it even better.
Oh, yeah.
This is what I was talking about. So let's use our technology.
With a clear mind.
With a clear mind of making sure that we develop our country.
Wow. Mr. Bamwine, when you hear what he's saying working smart. When we get to our people who understand self-love and self-development, you've been around this entire country. You've traversed the country, Mr. Bamwine. Do Ugandans love themselves? And do they love self-development? If not, what is the missing link?
I think as a country and the government is where we made a mistake.
Where exactly?
There has been a debate, and I know it is not yet sorted out, whether democracy and human rights can develop a country quickly than guided democracy.
That's why the president keeps saying that, oh, human rights, human rights.
It's a debate.
Yes.
It's a debate.
It's still ongoing.
And I have heard also from our communities, people saying that how can you teach people to love their country?
Someone already tweeted, you're wasting money to host people.
Yes.
This money should have been given to teachers.
I didn't know, but and I'm asking myself, Mr. Chamagero,
yes,
I know you know how to eat now.
Yeah, I do.
You know how to walk.
Yes, I do.
Is there anything you are doing that you are not taught?
I was taught.
If you are taught even how to eat,
yes,
how would you expect then somebody to love a virtue called Uganda?
By default.
You must go to the details and say this good environment is not anywhere in the world. Others have to heat their houses in order to get some kind of warmth. Others have to improvise to plant food. For us here, you throw a cassava stem somewhere,
it comes back.
to grow and you get food. So you must help people to understand the uniqueness of their country and the disadvantages that are likely to happen in case they are not committed to their country. The countries that were like, by the way, we are not inventing anywhere.
No, we are not.
The countries were like us at 1960 and chose a line of guided democracy, not human rights and democracy.
like South Korea.
Like, the Eastern Asia Tigers.
Yes.
I'm their fan.
Yes, same here.
Pick a country called Singapore, a rock. But they said there must be discipline and everybody must love his country. By force, by the way. Now that force has been translated into a culture. America, this America you're talking about. America was not there. 1875, 76. That's when it started. And the people were forced from different parts of the world, they became one. So there is a debate whether you must force people to learn their country or teach them. And me, I'm not talking about even teaching them, I'm saying even forcing. And that's why there's a mismatch. For us, we have, as a society, we have tended to glorify the comfort zone of human rights and democracy at the expense of the development
of the country.
And that's why you meet, that's why I said the generation now is a bit lazy. Not because they are lazy. Those who are viewing me, I come from a traditional background, conservative one.
Oh dear.
And I normally confess, if I was not caned by my father and mother,
you wouldn't be.
I wouldn't be here. Then I was not a boy. I used to like fighting to the extent that on P1, first day at school, I boxed the prefect.
Fred, that was tough.
But it was the canes that made me whom I am. And I don't know how I can dissociate myself from canes.
I want to bring back that to the context of the early 90s of Muchaka.
That's what I'm saying.
We
made a mistake.
It was one of the models that kept us grounded.
We made a mistake as a country. Even up to now, all these countries, the developed ones, there's what they call national service.
Yes. Tanzania is one of those we can...
developed ones. The Americans, this is where you're seeing all of them.
Yep.
When you finish school, you first go and serve for the country.
For a year or two, and then you go.
That national service is inculcating you that whoever you will be, you are an American. Whoever you will be, you should be Ugandan. So it's very, very, very important. We may have disagreements over other issues, but Uganda should come first. Above all.
I totally agree. Mr. Kasinje, he brings a very pertinent issue. I was lucky. I went through Muchaka. We used to be trained at where we have the today new in the market.
Yes.
That was a trading ground. And we had a subject called civics that taught us the rights, and again it taught us our roles, so that we don't confuse the two. Today I want us to look at who is working and operating differently in the public sector and in the private sector on developing our country. When you see Ugandans working, do you see them having that urge of developing the country, or are they just working for their own good?
Yeah, that's a very important question.
Yeah.
I think the perception is that I'm working for myself, largely. I'm not generalizing. I'm not saying that I have statistics over that. But if you go to the countryside, maybe because of our development, the level of development that we have, but you will definitely see the subsistence agriculture that we have, you know, people having, you know, a small area, and then they think they can comfortably live there. Okay, that's why the president is now talking about, if you have 1 acre of land, you can use that acre of land to generate 10 million in
and
a year.
Say,
Tichisoboka. But there have been examples that, you know, and once you start doing that, then now you begin to think about national, you know, doing things or developing yourself with a national perspective. And I agree with Fred that these are the things that are inculcated, that are taught, that changes the people's mind. The president writes in his book, Sowing the Mustard Seed, where he changed the life of the communities in Nyabushozi. Yes, and he goes there, and if you go there now, by the way, it may be difficult to get.
He has written another book he gave us a few days ago. Is it called The Turnaround of the Ankole?
Yeah.
And he told me to read it.
Yeah. So
have you read it?
I have. And that's why I have friends in that area. I'm trying to learn what is being done there, how we can replicate it here and in the other areas.
Number 2, I think I have already talked about it. I don't want to repeat about working hard, but also working smart to make sure that whatever I do, do I have a market? Do I have people who are going to take my products? And that kind of thing. I will not go back to that. But I also think that these programs that are being generated by government, we must first of all, the people who are, and I want to sound this because me, I've been in the police sector.
Yeah.
Okay, but now I'm coming to the community.
Yes.
I'm also a farmer, a small farmer, a small farmer. That's where I'm starting from, a small farmer. Even when these programs are coming, let the people responsible explain. Now we have the parish development model. Before we go even into the mechanisms of the parish development model, let it be explained very well. Let's mobilize, let's educate, let's sensitize. Because people are going to think that that money that is brought at the parish is for them to take their children to school or to do this or to do that. Now, the question you have asked, therefore, is very important. And you must connect it with all these programs the government is bringing into whatever. Now, we want to plan everything at the parish. Now, me, as Kasinje, who is a member of a certain parish, what is it that I must do that fits within the parish development model
that you can plug in,
that I can plug in, and it expands exponentially, then it is going to sprout, development within my parish and definitely within the country. And I think that's the level we need to take this debate.
Yes, Fred.
You see, we are talking about the transformation approach. It's good that you have invited me here. Me, I'm very funny. One, I am educated. I'm a leader. But at times I do things as if I didn't go to school.
As a rebel.
Those who are watching me, I also joined the social media.
Hey, I saw you on Twitter.
I've joined Twitter.
Welcome. That was the
I've joined Facebook. I do farming, but my farming is unique.
Which? How is it unique?
I stay in Chanja here. In 10 decimals, I have 40 heads of cows. How? You see?
How do you do
now
that?
you can see this.
Yes.
40 animals in 40 decimals.
But how are you doing
And
that?
I have 350 liters per day.
of milk.
And I don't have land.
Oh.
So how
Because he mentioned something called working smart. Because I have been in Nakaseke, and I'm trying to talk to those communities. Actually, may I go note? I say, if you are a religious person and you are a Christian, you have a square mile of land.
And they do.
And when drought comes and cows die, you may not go to heaven. Because in Genesis, God says, go and subdue the world.
You failed to subdue the land given to you.
So how will you go to heaven when cows are dying because of drought? And I invite them to come and see what I'm doing. 10 decimals.
300 cows.
I'm coming to
So
check.
there are 300 liters.
Yeah, but
of
you,
milk every
you
day.
pay 40,000 to see what I'm doing.
We are going to pay. I'm going to come.
Because
with
my
a son.
intention is very simple. I want Mr. Chiamagere to learn to raise one cow, which can give him between 20 to 40 liters of milk.
Every day.
One cow. And our communities, once our communities learn to raise one cow, which can give him 40 liters or 20 liters of milk, I will have finished my work. So this message, I'm using the social media. To remove this one, it's not possible. Okay, if you're saying it's not possible, you come and see. I'm a hands-on man.
We are going to visit Bamwine here at Chanja there, but those following this conversation on Twitter, the hashtag is Uganda First. You are following this conversation, and I need to understand that is your model you've resorted to as a patriot.
And I have learned it. That's why I'm saying it is possible to learn to love Uganda. And I am employing almost 20 people who are jobless.
In this value chain.
And when they come, they learn their skills and they go and do it in their own homes. It's possible. And once somebody has started earning,
Uganda First is the program powered by the National Secretariat for Patriotism Corps. I'm Andrew Chamageron. In the studios with me. I have the Commissioner RDC from the Secretariat, that is Mr. Bamwine Fred, and I have the retired AIGP, San Kasinje, and we're talking about the transformation of Ugandan. Asan,
Yes, please.
in the different capacities you've served the country and you've gone around our country, I strongly believe you saw some things that worried you about our country, especially with our generation. And as a patriot, as a statesman, you started to worry on what needs to be done. What are some of those things you saw and you had to hit yourself twice and you say, God be with us all?
Going into the countryside and driving through towns, even cities.
Yeah.
And then you find a whole generation.
Playing Ludo.
They are all in the cities, they are all in towns. And I can tell you, they are not doing anything. But they are all there. And then, as you drive to those trading centers and towns and municipalities, you see vast land. Vast land. Let me tell you, we have land.
We do?
Yes, drive here to Soroti. And then from Kumi to Soroti, that's area, and then you see what I'm talking about. You just see miles and miles and miles. But then you go into those towns, and then you see the young people who are there. And yes, you say Ludos, you say this, but some are in the Vivanda films, some are literally maybe asking, you know, and actually, I think even the source of anger, of, you know, abuse and whatever, you can imagine, because they are there, they are not getting the money, they are not doing anything. And once they see you, you have come in your Prado and you have work there, then they start thinking, is he here because he's this, is he here because he's that, and that kind of thing. I think that is one of the things that I have seen, and sometimes it bothers me.
Do you think this has happened because we lack mentors as a generation? We've just, you know, come up. No mentors, no direction.
Yeah, you could say that, but I think the government has gone several. I've seen programs within our communities. For example, if we took the LC system very, very seriously, it would have helped us to develop further. But these days, I even don't understand. Wherever I live, I think I don't see them. I saw them when we were in COVID, whatever, but I don't see them. But where we started from, you had the Secretary for Production. Do you remember?
Yes,
you had the Secretary for Production. You had the Secretary for Youth, for Children, for Women, for this. And then everybody was doing his or her work. I think we need to go back and mobilize and start talking and mobilizing, because the technology we've talked about, the media that we have, the different media, and I don't mean this, I also mean the social media and whatever. Who is talking to our young people? Who's talking to our children? What are they telling them? And you know, it's like a computer. What you get in is what you will get, is what you will get out. And I think then the mentors, yes, we don't need to tire. We need to come to these platforms and talk. You need to find them where they are, and you talk. I'm glad Fred has joined the social media. You're on Twitter, you're on whatever. But so many people don't want to be there, and yet they have a lot they can do to save our young people. I like working with the youth. I think one of the things that I do on social media, on Twitter, for example, is working with the youth, is finding them where they are. They have never called me for their programs, and I don't go there. Whether they are starting a small, there is a group called Bamba Lodge.
I've seen them on Twitter.
You have seen them on Twitter? They are somewhere in Kanyanya, around there. They are making knives. They are, you know, it's like artisanship, you know, and I went there. I have been called. I called them in my office, and then it's like, what is the chief political commissar doing with those people? These, if you're in security and you're a serious security person, and you don't link
with these people,
you don't link unemployment and a youth that is not productively, engaged or engaged in the production process of this country, then how are you going to stop crime?
You can't.
There is no way you are going to stop crime. So we must have this conversation, not only mentorship, but all of us civil servants and wherever we are. Then we must now start relating it with these young people. Yeah. Let's go to them. We have some kind of programs that we do within our, even if you're in meteorology, even if you are in whatever program, even forestry, I have seen parents who have maybe miles of forests, of trees, of trees. And I've seen them saying, oh, my son is wedding, I've given you 10 maybe acres of the trees. And the son is very excited. But after 5 years, have you expanded it? Have you managed it? Okay, so we must do a lot even to start telling them that growing trees is very important. Your dad has trees has some land in Mobende, where in Shema, where I come from, in Kashari and whatever. Can we do something? And all this is not only mentoring, but it is conscious patriotism, conscious patriotism of everybody. Whether you are a DPC, I'm sorry, I will talk about police because that's where you come from. That's where I come from. You are a DPC, you're a DPC in Shema. Just don't sit there and wait for people to come and come and report crime, and then you send your policemen, go here and do this and this and this and this and this. Find time and you go to these towns that I talked about, these communities that I talked about, to gather these young people. They are there in the towns, they are playing this and that and that and that. Even if you can't do it yourself, you will find somebody in that district who has, the
technical know-how.
The technical know-how of going and engaging these young people. Create a difference wherever you are. Even if you're a magistrate, even if you, I don't know who you are, don't leave it to other DCs. I think the problems that the Fred and his colleagues, because I've been engaging every RDC in this country. You go and ask, I don't know which RDC have not reached, okay? But they will tell you, CPC, we have problem of young people, we have this, and for us, when we go to talk to them, they want to, It is because we all do not want to come together, or maybe we don't know it, and make sure that we create this necessary change within society. That's what is going to herald patriotism. Oh, yeah. Yeah, because patriotism, we cannot keep on simply telling people, be patriotic, love your country. When somebody is telling our young people that, someone is the one who has put you in that kind of situation.
Great conversation. If you want to send us a WhatsApp, kindly, the number is on the screen. Send us a message, and I will read it later. I've seen someone has already sent me a message in need of Mr. Bamwine's number. He'll actually give us his number when he's leaving the show. But drop us some feedback on WhatsApp. I will be reading that a little later. Mr. Bamwine, there is for lack of a better word, there is unexplained rage among the youth, where even when we try to be transformative, the dark energy, the negative energy seems to be so heavy. You as an RDC for half of your life, Fred, where is this coming from? Is it ignorance? Is it externalization? Is it external influence, or what?
No, I read economics. What you're seeing are what you call social costs of development. The roaming of the youth in towns, it's out of real urban migration. The criminality that you are seeing, prostitution, all these things are being copied from people who have done it before. You have these films, you have these videos. So the issue is, you as a country, how are you, now that you have reached this stage of development, how are you utilizing it sustainably? Because here, what we're talking about, we must address the question of mindset change.
Yeah.
Our time, we used to use manual labor, to do some productive work. You put up a banana plantation. But the youth now, okay, if this boy youth has, for instance, stopped in senior 4, senior 6, maybe he's a graduate. His approach to life cannot be the same as mine, who was talking of planting a banana plantation. No. That's what I'm saying. There's need of government to do what they call policy reversal. Comrade Hassan has mentioned about it. How are you linked as a district, for instance, security committee, which has chairman LC5, RDC, DPC, DISO, and other members? How are you linked? Such as these youth you are talking about, you make an inroad. You make an inroad. How are you helping them to understand that even if you go to these towns, you need food? What are you going to eat? You need, what do you call it, the data, what?
Data, yes. Welcome to our world.
You need data bundles.
Yes.
They not come from heaven.
You have to earn them.
There must be some kind of earning, and not necessarily general earning, but positive earning. Because if you go into negative earning, you'll die. So we must work on the mindset, complete the mindset. But also when we're talking about transformative agenda, we must also make it as, you see this save this, it must be a crusade.
Oh yeah, every quarter there is a crusade.
All these media houses, what are they talking? What message is coming out? It must be a deliberate policy. It should not be, a right for you to be behind the microphone the whole day, and you are distorting the youth, and the country is watching. I'm very bitter about people who say that you cannot teach people about patriotism.
They're not informed, maybe.
No, and unfortunately, these are people who maybe we think they should be informed, but deliberately they are distorting innocent youth. That's why me, the youth, when I'm talking to the youth, I don't condemn them. No, I must liberate them. And like, for instance, I've told you to visit my farm, you pay some money.
We are going.
But for the youth, they don't pay.
Son, you're going to pay.
I am a youth.
I'm not.
You see why I'm saying this?
I hear you.
People have always talked. Yeah. How do I do farming when I don't have land?
Yeah.
When I went to Nairobi in 2004. We had gone to benchmark this. I have been in this business for 17 years.
Very much so. I'm sure you...
So, when we went to Nairobi, in Thika, every farm we went to, they said 80% of their animal feeds come from Uganda. I said, are you sure? And they have more milk than us. I said, what is it? 80% of animal feeds come from here. Maize, soybean, cotton seed, cake, wheat, all of them. I said, how can I do farming in town, like you here, when I don't have land? The man laughed at me. And he asked me a very simple question. And yes, he said, from Busia to Kampala, along the road, I'm seeing grass. Who is the owner of that grass? And that sorted me out. Completely.
That was a Jackster one.
Government pays a lot of money to go and slash this grass. All the roads in the whole country. But there's somebody who has no food at home because he has nowhere
to farm.
And we are wasting this grass. Just simple.
It's the mindset. But when that brings me to the other question. Do you think that the channels and the vehicles of information we're using to trickle down to the last person on the ground, are they really viable?
No, you see, all these issues are coming out of the constitution we made in 1995.
That was the problem.
1995, majority of the framers of that constitution had come from abroad because of exile. They were exiled, they had come back. So their preoccupation was to have a government which should respect human rights and should not be dictatorial like the governments that were there before. That's where they put most of their time. But they forgot that one can use that code constitution and paralyze government.
And here we are.
For instance, they put in a clause that there should be honorary members of parliament. And they will be having a right to determine their emoluments.
Up to today, we are suffering.
Because for them, what they envisaged was for one to qualify to be a member of parliament.
You have to be a statesman.
Is this man who has seen it all and he has gone to serve and he thinks about his country first.
Not the emoluments.
But now we have had a situation when people enter there, they look at themselves first.
Let's read it. Some WhatsApp messages coming in. Uganda First, powered by the National Patriotism Secretariat, COPS. Some people sending in messages here. Let's read it. This one says, I'm happy to see those two gentlemen there. I salute them. We have also taken the initiative to move to schools asking students questions in line with patriotism, but find challenges with some government agencies that think otherwise. Government should awaken school clubs now or never.
I agree.
Ronnie Subuga, this is a manager of MISA Tourism, Uganda. I don't know the last time I saw Ronnie when he's not talking about Uganda. Even when we traveled across the globe, he would say, I'm from Uganda. Before he speaks his name. Well done, Ronnie. More messages are coming in. This one says, it's unfortunate that some of our leaders are not teaching us that everything starts with us. All they are teaching the youth is to get credit for the good and blame others for the bad. We are part of the good and the bad. The question is, how do we deal with the bad? I believe that's why teaching patriotism is important, to understand that the country starts with you, not the government, not the president, not your neighbor, and not the foreigners. Woira Nicholas in Ginger, well done. Can I have another message? This one says, a great morning, fellow viewers. There is no citizenship in this country with the way we are being governed, unless the paradigm shift happens in the political arena to warrant changes in resource allocation to social services and employment creation. Baguma Ratoro Richard in Kampala, thank you so much. And this one says, the mindset planted in some people is killing our country completely. You cannot wake up and claim Uganda to be in middle status income when people are opting for death because of poverty. This is weird. Well done. Thanks for the show. Putting Uganda first is the only way to develop, because the more you create chaos, the more things get worse. Remember, Uganda is a capitalistic nation. It's only those with money who survive. So let's love our country to avoid issues. Edmond, the principal farmer. Thank you so much. One last one. This one says, Chamagero, these people abolished civics, political education in schools, even changed curriculum to change Uganda. Here we are. But you know what? I really want to thank you. Josephine says, I work with people suffering from jiggers. I am perturbed that Bamwine brands people affected as lazy. He needs to educate himself on, one, how huge the problem is out here, two, realistic causes of the problem. But I'm going to first respond to that one. I'll get back to the messages later.
I think I want to thank those who have given in their views. It's very, very important because they are following the program. There's somebody who said about paradigm shift.
Yeah, we need a political paradigm shift.
Yes. I want to give myself as an example. Most of my deployment has been in areas which are opposition areas.
And you've thrived.
And I can tell you, when I'm there, you may think I'm also opposition.
Why?
Because the question is very simple. It's not about a political party.
It's the country.
Neither about a political color. Neither religion. What issue do you have that you need to be solved? Regardless of the person who appoints me is from a party called NRM. But when I'm serving people in that area, I serve them regardless of their political backgrounds. I serve them because they are Ugandans. I serve them because they are in that area and they need this service, and the government is for everybody. Therefore, even if you have a political paradigm shift, will that bring food on your table?
It won't.
I have told you that this today for them, they want data bundles. They don't care where it has come from. I told you I employ some people. these boys come, he works, once he has got a phone, headset,
he's done.
and data bundles, he leaves the job.
Oh, God.
Yes, it is as serious as that.
That is worrying.
It is as serious as that. So even if there is political shift,
when the mindset is
when
still
the mindset
lagging.
is talking about quick gains without sweat, you are joking. So we need to go down and say, okay, we understand you are here now. You can't take you back. But we can help you from where you are and show you how objective and progressively you can contribute to this country, Uganda, and contribute to yourself from where you are. So, yes, politics is there, but to me, I think what's important is mindset and looking at the country. Secondly,
someone said about the jiggers.
Yes.
I think he works in she works in Busoga.
why I said about jiggers, I was talking about mindset.
Oh, the context. Josephine got it wrong.
Yes, we need to be a bit annoyed with our status.
Until we go get angry.
Yes, that's why I use a metaphor when I'm teaching my people that you will not go to heaven when you have a square mile of land and the cows are dying because of drought. You have betrayed God. God say, go and subdue the world. And I'm educating them now. You can plant grass, harvest it, and keep it. So that during dry season, you feed them with the stored grass. And that's what I'm saying. So when I'm talking about Jiga, I'm referring to we must transform our people to understand that you cannot survive without folding your hands. You must get out of this comfort zone.
And do something.
You must understand that for you to, even if your father left you as property, if you don't sustainably look after them, they will disappear.
You should double it,
Yes.
like Hassan said.
So as a country, we have these natural resources we are endowed with. We are lucky. Me, I don't see this population growth as a problem. For me, I think it's an opportunity that we can turn around and it becomes productive. And once this society becomes productive, the development of this country is unstoppable. We have talked about parish development model. There is no parish, there is no area in this country without a parish. Yep. How are you prepared to tap in these resources that are coming to the parish? Money is going to come to the parish.
But are you ready to tap into it?
If you don't, it's like when rain comes, it has rained and they meet you with a jerrycan going to fetch water.
You didn't take the opportunity to harvest.
So you must ask yourself, what do I need to, is it agriculture? Is it trade?
Is it service?
What am I going to, how am I going to benefit?
Let's read some.
And when you get these resources, they need to be multiplied.
Yeah.
Economics is simple. It is saving, investment.
Messages coming in. Thanks for the show. This is Timothy from Bia. I thank Fred and AIGP's son retired. I think the issue of national service should be put into practice to enhance patriotism in Uganda, just like countries like Nigeria, Eritrea and South Korea. We really need it back. Thank you, Andre, especially hosting my two friends, both retired as San Kasinja and Fred Bamwine. I want to thank them for their continuous serving humanity in this country. I remain Medina. Thank you so much. Thanks for the mind-challenging show, Men of Integrity. I love the concept, working smart. Everyone needs to adopt to create positive change. Sarah Basemere, managing consultant, data business consult, watching from Hoima, the oil city. Change of mindset must begin with leaders themselves. Instead of being service-oriented, they are money-oriented. Some look at money first and what they are to gain, not how to help people to grow. Mujisha Moses, thank you so much. There is a reason you won't see my Uganda First. The youth you're talking about have already gone to school. It's just that your system directed them to learn extensively nothing. Why does he need 40,000 shillings? And from all of us who will visit, if practically he means to say Uganda First. Dr. Arman Sadiq from Wakiso in Bulenga is bitter with you charging the youth like Kasinja to visit you. This one says, Mr. Chamagira, I'm glad for being one of the beneficiaries of your programs, but with due respect, allow me to ask this gentleman here to let navigate the state of the past, Mr. Ramadan, for not believing in agriculture when it came to the transformation of Uganda, yet the NRM manifesto are being anchored on agriculture, please. Just lastly, I would like to appeal to Mr. Bamwine, please, can I join the team to pay a visit to your farm? Thank you so much.
You called it Farmington.
Farmington. Yes, call it Farmington. Mr. Kasinja, so winding this conversation, what are your parting shots to Ugandans out there, especially the youth?
My parting shot is that patriotism is what we're all talking about.
Yeah.
But patriotism for what? Patriotism must be for the transformation of society, to transform our own lives from, call it backward, or lives that are not desirable, to a very desirable life. I have been privileged to travel almost throughout the whole world. And then you go to countries and you see the kind of development that they have, you know, people are employed and that kind of thing. This is what we want to do. So therefore, patriotism, we should not just look at it as if it is a political agenda, as if they have said you belong to NRM.
Yes.
He told you that he works in areas
where it is opposition.
Yes, but you know, so for me, my parting shot is this. Patriotism should be government-led, but must be nurtured by us.
From the grassroots. Yeah.
And therefore, it comes and it develops us. From the beginning, I talked about omwoyo gw'eggwanga ogutafa. Now, the young people, when they told you, in Uganda here, bajajja bakolanga bwe bati. This and this and this means this. Once you have guided, it begins to nurture
itself
from now where you have reached. There's nobody, Chamagere, who will come and tell you anything negative about Uganda.
I can.
You understand what I'm saying?
True.
So therefore, for me to love my country, I must be guided at a level that I should be guided, and then I nurture that, and then patriotism should be for not only the love, because I can love without meaning anything, but I must love my country. I must know that this country needs to develop from a certain level
to another level.
I must know that I'm living, but my children and my grandchildren. You say, that's why even here in Uganda they say abazukuru in jebujeyo mass. So we must now begin to think about patriotism without looking at political lenses, without whatever. Patriotism is about humanity, is about how we develop ourselves and transcend from a certain level to a higher level. When we talk about patriotism in the country, we are talking about a higher level of human development, which we all desire, irrespective of who we are. That is my parting shot.
Thank you so much. Mr. Bamwine, in a minute, this is a big challenge for you, but you're going to grab it.
I want to complain.
Yeah. To the Secretariat.
The time we are giving this, really, you're exciting people and they are not getting enough time.
For starters, you're going to start with your number, those who want to visit the farm.
My telephone number is 772 42 36 58. 772 42 36 58. Same number on 0701. For WhatsApp, now that I have joined, it is 752, same number. 752, same number. There's somebody who mentioned about leaders who
pushing the people to the end.
Yes. You see, that goes to lack of self-confidence. I normally tell people whenever they come to office, I know police, I said, but you man, you go
to the police.
To the police station. When you reach there, don't go these other policemen. Look for the DPC or the OC station. And when you enter office, sit there and say, I'm so and so. I'm here because of this. Once you have gone into that position, there's no OC will overlook you.
Okay.
So, it is the true leaders should be servants, should be giving service, not minded, not money-minded. But how confident are you? When
you're going before these leaders?
Yes. How much do you know about your rights? How come that among when they come to look for a criminal in this area, you are among the people they suspect? Why? The village has about 1,000
thousands of people.
Whom do you think has done this? It must be. Why should you be the one to be?
Rombroso's here.
But Mune is still going to complain, but time is actually against me.
So, lastly,
yes,
I have a slogan. The slogan is that struggling is the real meaning of life.
Yeah.
And everybody must enjoy struggling. Therefore, patriotism should be for production.
Wow. Thank you so much. The conversation was powered by the National Secretariat for Patriotism Corps. I'm Andrew Chamagero, and we, the youth, we're going to visit Mr. Bamwine's farm in Chanja. Yes. But one thing that is very clear, no one is coming. The government won't come. Your friends and family won't come. Do something about yourself from your local area, from your homesteads, and then we can develop the country. I'm Andrew Chamagero. Good afternoon.